Picture this. You're running towards the stage to give the speech you've been waiting your whole life. And then bam, you stumble, fall on the ground, face on the ground. Ouch. Then you stand up again and nothing feels the same. Every stumble, every why am I like this moment, every time something doesn't work, you think and you feel like it's a movie creeping back into your life. This is what being diagnosed with ADHD at a later stage might feel like. One minute, you think, why I'm such a chaos? Why everything is always so chaotic in my life? Why am I always late? Why am I always running? And then another minute, you realize that you've been playing life in a hard note. You just didn't know. And no one gave you the manual for it. But let's talk numbers. 15% of adults are undiagnosed ADHDers. 80% of them, they never even tried testing. And guess what? ADHD and autism go hand in hand. In fact, 50% of autistic people actually experience ADHD as well. And you know, those that are undiagnosed entrepreneurs, they actually are 3 times more likely to make reckless financial decisions. Yeah, like for example, those Trump coins for a few weeks ago. On the other hand, diagnosed entrepreneurs are 4 times more likely to become millionaires and build million-dollar companies. So we all know about these guys. We all know about Elon Musk. We all heard about Bill Gates, Richard Branson. These are the famous neurodiverse. But what about the average Joe? What about those guys that live in the real world with everyday struggles? Well, have you ever felt like you walked into a room and you forgot why you got there? Or maybe mid-pitch, you even forget what you're talking about? Have you ever delivered a 14-slide deep dive when an investor asked you for just a one-page wrap-up? Or vice versa, it took you 14 days to actually deliver half on page. Have you ever started 3 businesses because you got bored of the first 2 before they even made money at some point? Guess what? That's where serial entrepreneurs were started. And finally, you ever wake up at 3 a.m. in the middle of the night feeling you had the best idea ever to then forget by breakfast time? RIP cryptodonutrevolution.io. Well, here is the thing. Neurodiverse entrepreneurs struggle with a few things: time blindness, impulsivity, rejection sensitivity, burnout. But they also thrive under pressure. They do think differently. They bounce back like no other. They actually have a very good gut feeling. So, let me introduce you my friends. Alan. Alan, for years, has been trying to navigate the corporate mold, trying to fit into that environment that clearly wasn't really made for it. Waking up at 2 a.m. in the middle of the night with a $2 billion idea, again forgetting by breakfast time and time to walk in. He could out-strategize anyone and everyone, but he also doesn't ever remember where he put his kids. He kind of felt he was always wearing a mask, and also he thrived in chaos. But when things settle down, it would just get stuck, frozen, bored. He didn't know what to do. Alan, in his early 30s, got diagnosed with ADHD and autism. However, he didn't let this take him down. He transformed it into a superpower and invested in himself. He stopped trying to fit a box he wasn't built for. He started getting into entrepreneurship. He decided to become an entrepreneur. In fact, by definition, people with ADHD are much more likely to be successful entrepreneurs because they're risk takers. And he decided to focus on what he was great at. Risk-taking indeed, resilience, problem-solving, creativity, and every single time, building, failing, rebuilding, and keep going without quitting. Because that's what neurodivergent entrepreneurs really are. So what am I trying to say here? Well, for sure, the world doesn't need more neurodivergent people trying to be neurotypical. For sure, I'm calling for parents to open their eyes and help and understand whether their kids might be in the spectrum. And actually don't shy away from it. Don't shy away from early detection. Because if they put in place the structures from early age, they can actually create little superheroes that will become big superheroes. At the same time, I'm calling for adults. People that discover this mid of their lives like Alan did and figure that actually there is a lot of solutions out there. There is therapy, there is self-work, there is a support network that you can build around you. There is plenty of ways that you can find, and today even technology can help a lot, to make your life easier and to create those infrastructures that will help you succeeding. So here I am today, bringing to you the Neurodivergent Entrepreneur Manifesto, where what I'm trying to say is that first thing first, entrepreneurs don't need to fix neurodivergent entrepreneurs. They don't need to fix themselves. But they need to invest into building a world that fits their needs. At the same time, I'm calling for investors that look at these founders that are far pitching to them, and instead of looking at them as just crumbled all over the place, they actually look at them as high-speed innovation. I'm looking for companies and employees, colleagues, that instead of looking at a CEO or a colleague that is just too direct, as someone that is rude, they look at him as just efficient. And finally, I'm calling for the entrepreneurs themselves. Again, without trying to force themselves into a box they were not fit for, to actually rewrite the rules of the game. So essentially, I'm telling you that the world needs you. The unfiltered, the innovative, the resilient you. My name is Andrea. I was diagnosed with ADHD and autism in my early 30s. And the moment this happened, my world turned upside down. But suddenly, everything was clear. The struggles, the rejections, the bullying, the burnouts, the constant battle of not wanting to fit in the boxes I was given, the constant feeling of fighting against the world, a world I was not armed to fight against, and blaming the world for it. All the times that at work, I just couldn't sit still on a corporate meeting, or I just couldn't get through the chit-chat at coffee machine because I couldn't be bothered. All the times that I struggled making some friends because I couldn't connect. The times as a child, at school, when I struggled concentrating. Because you know what? whilst the others were trying to figure it out. I cracked it already. And then I would become the nightmare of the teacher and my mates as well, because I was always distracting them. And also the times, 3 times, that I got kicked out of a 5-a-side football team because I couldn't manage my passion, which I try and explain it was just because I was Italian, but it just didn't crack it. And I convinced them. Today, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a husband, a stepdad, I'm a footballer, I'm a professor, a PhD candidate, a friend, a boss, a human. Probably I can go ahead with this list for like another 10 minutes. But how did I get here? And I think this is where it's very important to understand what is the journey. I found myself a support network, my family, the people close to me. I trained, I practiced grit, I didn't give up. And I try and build structures, consciously or unconsciously, that took me through this journey, which requires every single day to keep working on yourself, because it never ends. And so you build confidence, one little step at a time. The first is that today, I'm not here to tell you I'm someone who made it or I built $1 million startup. Today, I'm here to bring you the story of anyone that could be you. Someone that without quitting goes through life, goes through the journey, and keeps practicing with grit, with humbleness, learning every day, not making it about the journey, not really making it about the destination, but making it about the person you become every single day by practicing and make those superpowers real. For years, they told us to mask, to shrink, to play by the rules that we were not built for. But here is the thing. Neurodiversity is not a weakness. Neurodiversity is an unfair advantage, but only when you learn how to use it. So trust me when I tell you, you are not broken, you are not too much, you are wired for something special. You are wired for success. Thank you.